Nah, I'm back with another video. This time will not be about con stories or anything. Also because like it's on my way to a con, and we were talking about cons, and because like I had friends posting up cons that they were going to and things like that, and I was like, there's some cons that I'd like to do, so I'm gonna talk about dream cons and like how, just in general, like what conventions like I would like to go to in the future at some point. If you asked me when I was younger, it would have been just to go to an anime convention in general, which I did eventually get to go to. And so before I talk about my dream cons, I'll talk about the cons that I've been to. So the most number of cons that I've been to in 1 year is like 6 or 7. A lot. But it's like, that's how many cons I've been to. I still know people that go to more, funnily enough. But those are mostly artists and sellers and stuff like that. I've been into small cons. I've been to big, I go to a big con. I've been to anime cons. I've been to comic cons. I even been to Ren fairs and festivals that are outside. And the reason I say that is because I've heard about conventions are outside. So my dream, cons that I've been into: Recreation Center, Convention Center. One of the conventions I went to was at an event space that you can rent out. And if you went to a senior recreational center, and they had like office type places to hold like panels and stuff. It was really weird. It was the only time they did that. But like I've been to a library, recreation center, convention space, but like everybody that I ever hear, it's like, oh, hotels are like the #1 places hold conventions. And I was like, I have never been to a hotel con. That's a con that I would like to go to, like a convention that is held in a hotel. And I was like, what other ones that I would like to go to? I would like to go to a convention that's held in a school, because I've heard people going to that, like university or colleges that usually host a convention, and it's on the university or college's campus. And I was like, I've never been to one of those either. I was like, I've never been to one, but I know of them and I know some of them around. And I was like, I would like to go to that, just to say I have. I also never been to a gaming convention, despite me, cosplaying from games. I'm actually not that big of a gamer, but I do like gaming, so I like to go to a gaming convention. I've never been to a gaming convention. I would like to go to a convention that's outside of the country at least once. I would also like to go to a convention that's outside the state that I live in. Funnily enough, that almost happened. So the state that I live in now is not the state that I grew up in. It is the state that I was born in, and it is the state that I visit every summer, because when my parents divorced, one continued living here, moved back to their home state. So I would come down every summer. I would come to every summer to visit family down here, until I eventually moved down. And 1 year, I was in high school, and I had been to an anime convention before, and I heard about this convention that was happening an hour, 2 hours away. It was a good price too. It was, and I was like, hey, my friends like anime. I can't drive, but I have a friend that can, and they have a van that could take a good number of us to go. So I brought it up to my friend who could drive, and he was like, yeah, but we should work this out. So we started asking around our friend group of who would like to go. Of course, this friend, he is providing the van, and he's one of the drivers. So we get a group of like people who are who can drive and people who will help pay for the gas. And the plan was to go on Saturday, drive to the convention, about 2 hours away. Each pay our own way in, do the convention thing, hang out, and then on the way back home, go home. Just for the weekend. Sadly, his parents needed his van, and he couldn't do it anymore because that was his only vehicle. And I can't fully remember why they needed his van. But he's like, yeah, I can't do it anymore. And we're like, oh, it was the only vehicle we had. So sadly, I didn't get to do an out-of-state convention. Then out-of-state Ren fairs, though. Been to, 2 different types of Ren. 2 Ren fairs in 2 different states. I've also went back up, cosplays that I've done, which is hilarious enough, because I bring it up, I'm not a big gamer, but I do gaming cosplays. I've done anime cosplays. I've done cosplays from comics and podcasts and books and cartoons, and I've done OCs. The one cosplay that I've never done is real people, or from real people TV shows and movies, Game of Thrones. I know that's a big cosplay from. I've seen Jack Sparrow, which is Pirates of the Caribbean. I've seen Bob Ross cosplayers and Michael Jackson cosplayers. I've seen a John Cena cosplayer. I never cosplay real life people, actors, or even shows that have real life people. I've done books, and I don't count comic books. Iron Man has a live action one. It also has a cartoon, and it was a comic originally. I count those as the original source because I usually do my own version, usually based off of the cartoon and the comics, usually not the real life source. And I was just realized that I was how many types of cosplays that I do and how many cons I went to. I found that really interesting, and I would just want to share that. And I think I shared this story, and the reason I wanted to share it was because I was making the Eat-A bag with these buttons, and I don't know if I shared it or not, so I'm going to share it again if I have, and if not, well, here's a new story for you. So I was at a convention, and talking to this artist, and I want insert the character's names, button. I didn't know that they had 2 buttons from them. I wanted this, it was a heart-shaped button. And it was I think it was $8, and the other one I guess was $5. And I paid, and they gave me the wrong button. And I was like, oh no, this is cute, but this isn't what I wanted. And my aunt's with me, and she's like, why don't you just tell them? And I'm like, I'm having this discussion, but I don't think the artist could hear me. Luckily, my aunt looked at their discount bit, and there was the button I wanted for $1. So I actually got to save money. Instead of paying $8 for a button, I paid $1 for the button I wanted. And I also paid $5 for a button that I didn't know existed, but I knew the keychain version of it was there, and I wanted that one, but didn't have the money for it at the time. But that was my buttons mix-up story as well. I think I forgot to tell that story in my conventions and cosplay stories, so I'm throwing that one in here. But what conventions that have you been to or want to go to? What was your dream convention? Because like I said, my dream conventions are going to a convention out of state, or going to one in a hotel, or even a gaming convention. So that's the only story I want to tell. So, till next time.